I hope a lot of you got your little handout. I did this because I am an extreme introvert who somehow got talked into public speaking. So now you have something you can look at besides me. I'll explain it, but feel free to just look down. So first I'm going to start by reading my favorite poem, which is on the handout I gave you. It's called Listen to the Mustn'ts by Shel Silverstein. Listen to the mustn'ts, child. Listen to the don'ts. Listen to the shouldn'ts, the impossibles, the won'ts. Listen to the never-haves, then listen close to me. Anything can happen, child. Anything can be. Most people see this poem as like a great comfort. They see it as like the world is telling you you can't do it, but he's telling you you can do anything. That's great and true, but I've come to focus on the last line a lot. Anything can happen, child, anything can be. So this series is about change. I'll get into that and come back to the poem. I hate change. I've always hated change. When I was little, my parents would wait for me to be at a sleepover or at my grandparents' house so they could move the furniture around while I wasn't watching. I would come home, cry it out, and move on. I still don't like when they get a new car or renovate, but I've stopped crying about it because the world has thrown much bigger change at me. I grew up with a lot of adults in my house. I didn't have siblings, but I had my mom, my dad, my grandmother, and my great-grandparents. At a very transformative time in my life, when I was 16 and 17 years old, two of the most important women in my life died within just 16 months of each other. My mom is in the top left of the handout. My great-grandmother is in the top right. I was pissed at the world. I would get so angry and sad I couldn't breathe. If you've ever watched Grey's Anatomy, I was a very dark and twisty person for the last half of my high school career. But once I graduated, I started having the opportunity to travel. A lot of good things happened to me. I came here, and my freshman year was also not so great, but my sophomore year, I found the Truett Center, and I found a lot of people who wouldn't judge me. And I got to be a leader, and I got to study abroad. So the picture at the bottom in the middle is me with the Eiffel Tower. And the picture at the bottom right is when I was the executive director of Ripple, but I actually came to the Truett Center the first time for Ripple in my freshman year. So the Truett Center has also been a big change in my life. A good change. The bottom left corner is just moments after I got engaged to my fiance, Jake. Another good change in my life. And as you might have read in the little blurb on the program, I'm actually getting married here in this room in June because this building means so much to me. So back to the poem. A couple years ago, well, I guess last year, I was really thinking about graduating and like how I was gonna deal with the rest of the change in my life because I was starting to realize it was inevitable. So this anything can happen, child, anything can be, it stopped meaning all the good things are possible. It started meaning good things will happen, but bad things will happen too. Anything can happen, and you just have to learn to deal with that. So I now have it tattooed on my arm because I didn't ever want to forget. So now when I graduate and I move away, I'll always have that to remind me that the empty blocks on your handout stand for the good things and the bad things that are coming. The bad thing is still the bigger, sharper one, and the good thing is still the smaller, rounded one, but I know they're both there, and I've come to terms with it, and I've learned to be ready for it. Thank you.